Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Uncaged Season 5, Episode 8. My name is Mike Larkin. As always, by my side is my boy, DC Daniel Crimmins. Daniel, it's a pleasure and a privilege as always. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am dry in the wettest season of New York. It's fucking May. It shouldn't be raining this much.
Yeah, well.
And then we got our boy over here who's sweating his ass off in California.
Ladies and gentlemen, the collector, the protector, the one, the only. Dare I say he's the tribal chief. You do it so you better me. Go ahead, do the tribal chief thing again. Come on, man. Come on.
Shall I do the intro?
Yeah, just do the intro. You know you want to do the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Crimmins, and I am a member of the TSK. And joining us today in a special show is an amazing musician, a guitar player, another member of the TSK, a member of Deep Into the Dark Heart of Wrestling. I am talking about the reigning, defending, undisputed tribal chief of the TSK, Robert Davis.
I like that. I really like that a lot. Roberto, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, wise man, for that.
Beat that. Somebody beat that.
Lovely introduction. Come on. I dare you.
Come on.
Jabrones.
Well, who we're talking about in today's episode, as this is a special episode for episode 8. We redid the order because it would only be fair if we touch upon this man who unfortunately we lost not too long ago, the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying, or ECW original, Sabu. Oh, man, when you think of Sabu, and I'll be honest with you, boys, like I watched the ECW stuff, the original ECW stuff later in my years, but for me, like watching Sabu in TNA with Abyss and the barbed wire massacre matches, like the melts with Samoa Joe, the Monsters Ball, I mean, we'll get into the WWE ECW stuff, but when you think of someone who's anomaly, who's someone who was just different and who had such an aura and just a presence about him, you think no further than Sabu.
Exactly. You know, I think Taz really did say it best that Sabu was aura before aura was aura.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, there is really nobody like him, and there probably never will be anybody like him again. Sabu is one of those guys that you think is going to live forever. So once that notification popped up in our Discord that he, had passed, we were just kind of like, oh shit.
Are you sure?
How does that happen?
Right.
Like, that's someone you expect who's going to live forever. And in a way, I guess he will, because, we have all these, wonderful memories of him doing absolutely crazy shit. So,
I mean, when you think of the top rope Arabian facebuster, the springboard moonsault, everything that he did, equalizing a chair, especially just throwing that chair and chucking it, as we all know that everybody really incorporates into their arsenal now. It's one of those things, too, where it was very innovative for its time, and it's very much still innovative in today's day and age. But, I mean, when you think of Sabu, it's one of those things that gets me about him, like we mentioned, the aura behind aura. Like, I laugh at somebody like Taz because I loved his tribute, but I'm like, these two sons of guns did not like each other. If you've seen the history about Sabu and Taz and ECW, they legit did not like each other, but that's what made their feud great. The barely legal match, the lights go out and there's Sabu. Like, Sabu and Taz, whether they were teaming and he was the Tasmaniac, or going against each other in this version of Taz, beat me if you can, survive if I let you. Let's talk about that first. Let's start there, Sabu and Taz. So I'll start with you, Dan. Your thoughts on the Sabu-Taz rivalry from ECW?
To me, knowing what Sabu did and everything, some people are known for specific rivalries. You think Rock Austin, Triple H, Mankind. Sabu and Taz, to me, is probably one of the most iconic feuds in wrestling, at least of the 20th century. It's... And they didn't even have to do all the hardcore shit. Like, Sabu, yeah, he's known for the hardcore stuff, but he could throw down. Like, high-flying, technical. Like, dude is a former NWA world champion.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't hold it very long, but he held it.
Yes, he did.
And highly underrated technical wrestler.
I think when you come from the lines of the original Sheik and what his uncle did, I mean, I look at it like this, man. Sabu and Taz, when you have someone like Taz who's the human suplex machine and Sabu can counteract that style, you have greatness for just an awesome rivalry. I mean, this was around the same time, too, when Taz was going against Mikey Whipwreck on Raw, and then Sabu fell off the R. That infamous spot that he did jumping off the R on Monday Night Raw where he fell off of it, let's be honest. But I mean, that stuff was cool as the nice little introduction of the ECW, WWF kind of.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah, because Vince was helping fund ECW, and that was the best part. You got to see ECW guys on Raw. You got to see the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and John Cronus. You got to see the Dudley Boys. You got to see so many great people. And
Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam beating a young Jeff Hardy, looking like he just came out of I don't know what with those friggin' early outfits. My goodness gracious.
We don't talk about the flower gear.
Come on, man, the flower gear and everything, the Hardy Boys. Woof. Now, with that being said, Roberto, I'll flip the script on over to you. Your thoughts on the Sabu Taz rivalry, brother?
You know, it kind of like Dan said, it's one of those iconic rivalries in wrestling history. Because Sabu had quite a few of them. Sabu and RVD, Sabu and Sandman. It's funny, before you jumped on, I was watching clips of Cena and Sabu, and that was just kind of like, those two couldn't be more opposite of each other.
No.
But, the clips that I did watch, I still remember that match being pretty iconic. But Taz and Sabu is definitely up there as one of the prime rivalries of ECW, and I think just wrestling in general.
For me, what really sticks out, and we'll start with this next one here because I know we'll get some more stuff here, but ECW, I want to just focus on him and Terry Funk, that barbed wire match, which was just disgusting.
Yeah.
And they both got caught up in the barbed wire, and Terry Funk, who was just middle-aged and crazy as he was known, my God, helped a lot of the young talents in ECW, former ECW World's Heavyweight Champion. This match was just brutal, and if y'all have never seen it, it's a classic, but also a classic for the fact that Terry Funk is nuts, Sabu is nuts, and you got two combustible elements caught up in barbed wire. The only other time I remember Terry Funk being caught up in that barbed wire was when him and friggin' Tommy Dreamer took on Mick Foley and Edge, and Beulah and Lita were involved in that whole thing from ECW One Night Stand 2006. Oh, my goodness gracious. But I have to put this into the forefront here. That's the type of stuff you got with ECW, and a promotion where everybody thought it was garbage wrestling, or as Jerry Lawler once called it, extremely crappy wrestling, as he said on Monday Night Raw. There was a lot of story to with ECW. It was the hardcore stuff, but damn it, you got some good wrestlers like the Two Cold Scorpios, Eddie Guerreros, the Malenkos, the Benoits, everybody that came through. And I'll ask you, Mr. Daniel Crimmins, Sabu and Terry Funk, barbed wire, your thoughts, and to see these two legends go at it in '97.
To fully give you folks an idea of how important this match was for a multitude of reasons, Paul Heyman did an interview where he stated that because of this match, he never did another barbed wire match after this. Because so much went wrong, they had to cut them out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Sabu ended up winning that, I think.
Yeah, Sabu won, and then they had to carry, they had to really cut them all out, and it took a while. You just see the scissors and the pliers and everything. Oh, it was bad.
Because he didn't know where, different pieces were intertwined, and people say, well, just pull them out of it. It's not WCW. They didn't use plastic tip barbed wire.
Right.
Yeah, that was a WCW thing.
Yes, but I think with what he did, it's still iconic, but Paul Heyman was so smart and never doing it again after what we saw. So, Roberto Davis, your thoughts on the middle-aged and crazy Terry Funk against Sabu?
Terry Funk, at this juncture, in '97, I was 11, 12 years old. And I remember watching this match because I like Terry Funk. I was pretty as a child. Still am as an adult. But I remember watching this match and just thinking, holy shit, this is different. But I definitely like this. This definitely opened up a door for me personally in terms of the type of wrestling that I like. And kind of like the car wreck match of Nick Gage and Matt Cardona that me and DC watched probably 3 or 4 times
that night.
That night. This is one of those matches where I had to watch it over and over and over again because I just really I liked what I saw, and kind of how we alluded that there was a lot that went wrong. It was still very, very entertaining for what it was.
I mean, for me, man, like y'all talk about just barbed wire and everything that goes into this and craziness. I mean, Robert Davis, since you've been watching Terry Funk since you were 11, you ain't nothing but an egg sucking dog, you son of a gun. But I look at it like this, man, Funk U University. I look at it from a stance like this. It gave us that match. It gave us legendary moments. And you guys mentioned Sabu and Rob Van Dam.
Well, Mike, there's one thing that a lot of people don't remember.
What?
In that match, Sabu tore his bicep.
Is this the one where he also I know he super glued his wounds. Is this the one where he super glued it?
No, different one.
Okay.
This one, almost early on in the match, he tore his bicep completely.
Chipped it too, kind of.
He took a roll of tape and taped his bicep up.
I said, now you know what my sister said. You want some scissors?
Yeah. Dude had so much dedication to his craft.
That's the thing, too. When you have so much dedication that you're going to work with a torn bicep and friggin' just staple glue all your wounds because you didn't go to the hospital. I mean, it just shows the magnitude of what his character would be and what the aura, like we mentioned. But, I mean, we mentioned Sabu and Terry Funk, and we mentioned Sabu and Rob Van Dam. The entertaining part about that was Bill Alfonso with the whistle and everything. And those
I can hear it now.
Yes, and those two met so well. And because they were also trained by the original Sheiks. So, I mean, for y'all two, with what we got to see, and Rob, I'll start with you on this. Rob Van Dam and Sabu as a team and even as opponents.
Man, I remember I don't even remember what it was. If it was the double frog splash of them going through the tables together, like that shit just echoes in my head. And even now just talking about it, I can see it clear as freaking day. Just like, I mean, holy crap. Like the matches that they had together and now they're teammates. It's just like, this is insane.
And Daniel, I'll ask you the same thing because Rob Van Dam was just coming to the company after his WCW brief run as Robbie V.
Robbie V.
Taking on the likes of Scotty Flamingo, quote the Flamingo, nevermore. Your thoughts on
what about me? What about Scotty?
Your thoughts on freaking God Almighty, man. Your thoughts on freaking Sabu and RVD as a team and as opponents. Go, Daniel.
Honestly, two very similar styles. Very phenomenal styles.
I see what you did there, Mr. Daniel Crimmins.
And the match, I know the match that you're talking about. It was RVD and Sabu versus Hayabusa and Gensi Shinzaki, formerly known as Hakushi in WWE.
WWF Hakushi, man, yeah. Oh.
And great friends, like it didn't end up so well for them in the WWE.
No, getting arrested for marijuana.
And it was Sabu's. He's even said he tried to take the fall for it.
No, and that unfortunately led to friggin' RVD losing the title, and we'll get to that in a second. Go ahead, Dan.
But amazing team, and it's an absolute shame that they couldn't lock Sabu down for the invasion storyline like that. If they could have gotten him, I think it would have been so much better.
I mean, for me, and it's so interesting to me, too, because of what he could have done during that time, and especially when Mick Foley was doing the stuff like we mentioned, him turning heel with the Rated R Superstar and Edge. Like, one of my earliest memories, even of Sabu, was that match that he had with Cactus Jack.
Back the Desert Death Match?
Back at the CW Arena, man. Now, I'll start with you because you're the Mick Foley guy over here, Mr. Daniel Crimmins. Your thoughts on Sabu and Cactus?
I couldn't love it anymore. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
two guys that could absolutely go to town, and to me, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, whatever you want to call him, he was what Sabu. He was to WWE what Sabu was to ECW.
Agreed.
You know, I mean, if you think say it had been Undertaker versus Sabu in the Hell in a Cell, Sabu would have done the same shit, probably more.
Yeah, I think he would take it over to what Mick did with getting thrown over it. But that's how it was. That was the lifestyle. And I mean, before we knew about CTE,
He would have done an Arabian face buster.
Oh, dude, you're putting the image in my head. But that's the thing, because
tell me you don't see it.
I do. But before CTE happened, it's one of those things where like you could go balls to the wall and really finding out more about it. But Rob, I got to ask you son of a gun, bang bang, your thoughts on Sabu and Cactus. And I mean, this is Cactus's early appearances in ECW. So what were your thoughts?
Yeah, this is right up my alley. I had known a little bit about Cactus Jack before. I think my first experience with Cactus Jack was I think him versus Jerry Lynn in AWA, and then that had to be 93, 94 maybe. I don't know.
God damn,
long ass time ago. But the fact that Sabu and Cactus Jack got together, that was just like, goddamn. That's another one that just kind of echoes in my, insane mind. Just kind of even thinking about it, just like that actually happened.
I would just like, I like to, I don't mean to laugh, but I mean, I like to apologize to Moses Marquez for the AEWA mention. But no, I mean, look at it like this, man. That's how great the deep depths of the memories go. And I mean, I have to ask you both now, too, because both of these men as well came from WCW. Well, more of Cactus Jack, but Sabu did have a run in WCW against Mr. JL, a.k.a. Jerry Lynn. Small run, a little pequeño, but
a cup of
coffee in the big time. Ooh, yeah.
And then he didn't show up, and then Bischoff fired him.
Little cocaine with his coffee.
Cocaine with his coffee. So.
Well, Mike, there's a match, and to me, you talked about, the ECW stuff. To me, if you want to see absolute batshit crazy,
yes,
there's a tag team match in Japan for FMW, I believe it was.
Oh boy.
It was Sabu and the original Sheik versus Atsushi Onita and Tarzan Goto.
It's become synonymous with just the ring blowing up and fire.
Which, if you know Sabu, if you see the interview with Sabu, he said they didn't know what the hell they were doing. It wasn't like it was only supposed to be like the middle of the rope. And he said they used too much gas.
I mean, it's very innovative for its time, and it's influenced a lot of people. But I'm like, how could you use that much gasoline? I mean, we've seen WWE do it with the Inferno matches and the quote-unquote Ring of Fire, as we saw later on years with Bray Wyatt and Kane. But I mean, like, that was a recipe for disaster. Very cool visual, but God damn it, I am happy nobody got hurt in that. I really am.
Macho bullshit.
Goddamn macho fucking bullshit, you son of a bitch!
You goddamn fire!
The fuck are you doing?
For the Secos!
For the Secos! Gonna light yourself a goddamn fire, you stupid motherfucker! But yeah, no, it's one of those things where classic wrestling like that is just not helped at all, as far from the Cornettes and many of them who don't like that style. But I'm like, it's a different style with Japan. Japan's been always strong style, and they've always taken it to that next level. But it also fit the gimmick of the Sheik, who was stabbing people with pens and forks and fire, and everything.
Whatever he could get his hands on.
Basically whatever he get his hands on.
Yeah, but that lives up to the reputation of the name, man.
There was, if you can find it, Dark Side of the Ring covered the original Sheik.
Yeah.
And, it's mentioned that, in the 70s, the Sheik was hardcore really before that was a thing, before that was widely a thing. And then Sabu basically picked up that mantra, that mantle, and carried it. And there'll never be anyone close to. I mean, I think the closest we even have to even similar to Sabu, Darby Allin, maybe.
Darby Allin Darby Allin's like a mix of Sabu, Jeff Hardy, and everybody that did some insane shit. That's
But
Goddamn.
Sabu would have fucked him up.
Imagine Prime Sabu against Darby though.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
that would have
God.
been.
Can we get the body bags?
Yeah, that would have been a literal death match.
Yes. Now, I do have to ask as well, because you mentioned the Sheik. When he broke his leg and they showed on Dark Side Ring, was that during the match with Mr. JL, or was that a different match in WCW where he broke the leg? Remember, like, he broke his leg? Was it against Mr. JL? Was it against Jerry Lynn?
So. I
think it was, yeah. But that's crazy, just to even see the cup of coffee that he had in WCW and then getting fired for no showing. I mean, I also remember, speaking of no showing, remember when Paul Heyman was in the ring and he got so pissed that Sabu didn't show and he went to Japan. You remember that infamous speech, Daniel?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Because at the time he was so beloved and he was one of the integral parts of ECW, then he just no shows.
Well, I think even to this day, Paul has some resentment about that.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I mean, I don't think he ever released a full statement on Sabu except for retweeting things.
Yeah, there's always been that weird relationship ever since that happened. And I mean, Rob, knowing Paul Heyman, Tommy Dreamer said it best on the Rise and Fall of ECW. He would lie to the wrestlers, but he would never lie to the fans. So what were your thoughts on Paul Heyman's infamous speech about Sabu, that piece of shit? He didn't show up. He said, I swear to God, I'll be there. And he chose to fuck the fans. What were your thoughts on that speech?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. At the time, you almost didn't know if it was real or fake. I mean, years later, we obviously know now. But that was just an extra layer to the man that is Sabu, and it's looking back on it, it's just kind of like, yeah, that's
Sabu.
That's Sabu.
Like,
yeah,
everybody that knows him is like, yeah, that's kind of him. Like,
that's what he does.
the dude no-showed his own Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah,
this is very true.
Didn't Joey Nutella give him his plaque?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Like, it's a year late.
It's a year late, but here you go.
Hey.
Oh,
Better late than never.
Better late than never. But no, I look at it like this, y'all. So we mentioned ECW, we mentioned the little WCW and the FMW, because that really influenced what would become a trend of what we see in deathmatch wrestling, the hardcore style. And one of my favorites, like I mentioned earlier, what really grabbed me into Sabu, seeing this upstart by the name of Abyss, who was just killing it with Father James Mitchell, really got into the forefront. And then they had this match one-on-one in a pay-per-view. Abyss won. Then the following pay-per-view, they introduced this new style of match called the Barbed Wire Massacre. And I'm like, what in the world is that? Because I'm 13 years old at the time watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell are these men going to do? And this match was just, Abyss was covered in blood on his arms. He had cuts from the barbed wire. These two men did not let up on one another barbed wire boards. It's probably one of the most violent matches in TNA history. So I'll start with Roberto, because we did mention Abyss, and I know that Robert has a soft spot as well for Decay. So, and of course, Blackhearts. So, Rob, I'm going to ask you first.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies, yes. I'm going to ask you first, Roberto. Abyss and Sabu, Barbed Wire Massacre, go.
I wasn't watching wrestling when this happened, but I did go back and watch it, and honestly, I thought somebody was gonna die.
Right.
It just kind of reminded me of who Sabu was. Obviously, we know who Abyss is, but holy shit, I thought one of them was gonna die. And like, if this is what TNA does, maybe I need to watch TNA. But holy crap, I sincerely thought one of these dudes is gonna die.
That's the thing too. He gave us such a legacy with that match that introduced the Monsters Ball, which was him, Sabu, Abyss, Jeff Hardy, and friggin' Rhino, and Jeff Hardy doing that swanton bomb off the top of the friggin' structure, and just Rhino and Sabu and everybody that gave us that, especially even more his infamous feud with Raven in TNA. I don't think Sabu gives a rat's ass about the Sheik. So we'll start with Dan as well with this one. Sabu, Abyss, Barbed Wire Massacre. What'd you think, man, of this introduction?
I remember watching it when it happened and thinking, like, God damn, Sabu's still wrestling? Like, And all you had to do was look at Sabu. Like, look at his body. All the injuries that this man has gone through for professional wrestling.
Scars, baby.
Every single scar. And to me, he is somebody that is love for professional wrestling. You know, the only thing I can compare him to, the movie The Wrestler. That's Sabu. You know, and just seeing him in Abyss, like, and by this point, Sabu had been going for like 25 years at this point, because he was around back in the 80s doing this.
Yeah.
And at that level, to be going that long, yeah, like that's, you got to be something special to have that. And, you know, that he could still hang with Abyss, and Abyss is no cruiserweight.
No, not at all. And I mean, I look at that feud, and like you mentioned, the Monsters Ball matches. I mean, everything that went into the TNA run, I still remember. I don't know if you guys remember this one too well, but when he wrestled Samoa Joe in his early stages, when Samoa Joe came in, was the X Division champion, and they had that match at Lockdown, and he threw the chair at Sabu, and part of like the thumb just like his thumb got all scarred up from that chair shot to the throwing. And I got to ask you, besides everything that went into that, I mean, having a guy like Samoa Joe, who just came out from Ring of Honor, pushed him to the moon with that X Division championship run. What were your thoughts on, he needed an opponent in Lockdown? He got the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu for the X Division championship. And I'll start with you on this one, Daniel. Samoa Joe, the Samoan submission machine against Sabu.
You know, another one where two completely different styles, you know, but sometimes it just works. And you both know I'm a big Samoa Joe guy.
Oh, yeah.
Always have been. And to me, this match doesn't get as much love as it should.
No, it's highly underrated. And I'll ask you, Roberto, because you're a Samoa Joe man as well as we all are, and get to see him at his truest fruition. And, of course, being the maniac that is Sabu. Your thoughts on these two clashing?
You know what? I have actually never seen this match.
Roberto.
But I think I have to go back and watch this because you know, Prime Joey Samoa, X Divisions, Joey Samoa versus Sabu. That sounds tasty, and I'm sure this delivered on all aspects.
We will add that to our watch along.
We might have to.
We might have to. It was, and I'll say this to the listeners. It was something that was out of the ordinary because the story built was just Samoa Joe needed an opponent, and then the lights go out, and here's Sabu. It was perfect because Joe was the killer that he was. He beat AJ. He beat Christopher Daniels. He beat Sanjay Dutt. He beat Chris Sabin. He was going through everybody. So this being an ultimate test for competition really, really worked well. And I mean, something else worked well for Sabu. I'm going to put this into the forefront as well. We've talked about this match many a times, Daniel, because now we're going over to the WWE side of things. One Night Stand 2006. Rey Mysterio and Sabu for the World Heavyweight Championship. Lord, what a match that was. That was bonkers. To put in the blunt of terms, bonkers. And I will say right now, that finish, that DDT through that table was just gnarly. And you heard it was just a horrible smash. But these two, the chair shot that he threw at Ray, and Ray didn't even get his hands up. It was loud.
So,
I'll get.
To preface this, I remember watching that match when it happened.
Okay.
And it got a lot of shit because it ended in a double disqualification.
Okay.
Which you think an ECW pay-per-view that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
Now, Sabu actually explained it. He said initially going in, they didn't want Sabu to lose. They didn't want Rey Mysterio to lose. They wanted both guys to look strong. So what do? So they went with that. Which, here's an idea. Don't have them fucking wrestle each other.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of ECW, Rey Mysterio, the matches with Psychosis, Juventud Guerrera, like this dude with Rey Mysterio even, I laughed at this because if you even watch the beginning of the match when Rey comes out to, who's that? Jump! Oh, no, Booyaka, Booyaka. He freaking got booed because he came out to his WWE music. Like, the ECW fans were not having it. We want the old Rey Mysterio Jr. We don't want the WWE version of Rey Mysterio. And they got Sabu, like we saw him at even 2005 when the first One Night Stand when he beat Rhino after Rhino had just gotten fired by the WWE. So two back-to-back
weeks before.
Couple weeks before for destroying the hotel. So we'll start with this one. Rob, I'll even ask you your thoughts on the World Heavyweight title match, and then we'll go back to the Sabu and Rhino. So go ahead, Sabu and Rey first.
Yeah, that one was something. I still remember Sabu, and Rey going through and it's always that spot where Sabu runs, jumps off the rope, and kills somebody. That always just kind of echoes in my mind, and just to see Rey just kind of turn into a clump of Mysterio, it's holy crap.
Oh, so we'll go back to the Rhino thing. So Rhino had just gotten fired for destroying a hotel room, and he was not in a good place at the time. Alcohol is never the option.
And was going through a divorce.
Through a very nasty divorce, yes. So Rhino is on this pay-per-view after getting fired, and he's looking for an opponent, and he was going after RVD because he was hurt. And who do we get? Sabu. Who better than Sabu? So Sabu would then go on to beat Rhino, and they had a hell of a match at this One Night Stand. Another very underrated one.
Well, because also at this time, there were a lot of talents that wanted nothing to do with the WWE, as Shane Douglas once called it, the bastardization of ECW.
Gotta love the franchise.
So he turned around and came out with Hardcore Homecoming.
I remember Hardcore Homecoming, yeah.
So you had people from ECW that, didn't want to do the WWE thing for whatever reason, money, personal preference, whatever. They did that. And it was like a weekend before or weekend after, it was like right around that same time. And honestly, I don't think they would have brought Shane Douglas in anyway, because, well,
fuck Shane Douglas.
I mean,
Triple H doesn't like him.
Fuck you, Dean Douglas. So, I mean, I have to go on this because it was great to see the great weekend of ECW, the Hardcore Homecoming. Jeremy Borash was on that. So many people helped with the production of that.
On YouTube, I think.
Yeah, I think it still is on it, or either the documentary about it is still there. Yeah, I think you're right. But I'll even ask you, Roberto, your thoughts on Sabu and Rhino at One Night Stand 05.
Yeah, not one that I remember too well because I don't remember really enjoying it too much. But that's one of those things. Like, yeah, that happened.
I feel you, man, and that's cool. And I mean, I look at it from a stance like this. It's great to I've always said this. Once we got to the first ECW One Night Stand, then they started to make the brand after that. Oh boy! And Sabu was an integral part of that ECW on Sci-Fi brand. And who's his first opponent on pay-per-view? I know, I see Daniel shaking his head already. Who is his first opponent on pay-per-view? Well, none other than John Cena. So John Cena loses the title to Rob Van Dam. Paul Heyman makes the count. And then they lose it because they get arrested. And Rob Van Dam loses the title to Edge. And both titles. And then he loses it to the Big Show and friggin' trashes in the ring. So Big Show's the ECW champion. Edge is the WWE champion. So Edge would go on to fight Rob Van Dam at Vengeance 06. And then John Cena, who goes to ECW's house and says, I like this style. I will see you at Vengeance 2006 in an extreme lumberjack match. And I thought to myself at the time, an extreme lumberjack match. Out of all the doggone things this match could have been, Extreme Rules, fine, but an extreme lumberjack match with all the ECW brethren around there with the WWE superstars. It was actually a very good match with John Cena getting the win, because of course. But what led to it even before that, Sabu, I remember on Raw, where he throws the chair at Cena, and he does the Arabian Facebuster through the announce table, and it's one of the coolest doggone sights ever.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Rob on this. Sabu and John Cena taking him out through the announce table and the Vengeance 06 match.
Yeah, that's my favorite memory of that match is the Arabian Facebusters through the announce table. As a matter of fact, I went back and watched it before we got on here just because I wanted to see it again and again and again and again. Just because this current Cena run is not that great, and I just wanted to see him eat an Arabian Facebuster.
Fair enough.
A couple of times. Why is this video 15 minutes long? I mean, Just because.
Just because. Like, well, so the match in itself, though, it was not bad. I
No,
understand.
it wasn't bad at all.
And
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, and I understood why John went over, but god damn it. You want to talk about Sabu and Cena? Go ahead, Dan.
Match doesn't get as much credit as it should. And Rob, like you, the Cena run started off good, but and I said it on the TSK show. When you have Cena, who's supposed to be a heel, and you have him doing all the events at WrestleMania, and he's all happy-go-lucky, and he's the same fucking face John Cena, it's not working.
It's not at all.
Like, they should have gone with the plan of having Cody turn.
I feel you on that, man.
So, and Sabu's even talked about that match. He said that Cena made him look good when he didn't have to.
Well, I think with John at the time, too, he was coming off the Triple H match at WrestleMania 22, and then he's in there with Triple H and Edge in the Edge feud, which was awesome, and incorporating the RVD feud in there as well with the Money in the Bank. Like, this was Cena just doing his thing and really working hard, and still the start of the Let's Go Cena Sucks chance. And that was a great way for Sabu to really showcase his stuff, being the integral part of ECW and one of the focal points. And, of course, after this, he would go on to feud with, well, it's the Big Show for the ECW Championship, which Big Show would beat him for and retain at SummerSlam 06. And I was there at that infamous Hammerstein Ballroom where the Big Show fought Batista and the change the channel chants and fuck you SmackDown and fuck this match at the Hammerstein
What's that for the ECW title?
Yes, and they chanted fuck this match, change the channel, fuck you SmackDown, and everything under the sun at Big Show and Batista because nobody wanted to see that match.
Like, what the fuck do you think was going to happen? Like,
well, the best part about was Sabu coming out and taking out the Big Show. That was the best thing because people were cheering for Sabu, and he came out and destroyed the Big Show. That was the best part of the whole entire event.
well, and don't forget, we also got Big Show versus Ric Flair for the ECW title.
Well, that was better than what I thought it was going to. Woo! That was better than what I thought it was going to.
Which, and I still say them bringing back ECW was just so Vince could shit on it. Which, if Vince really wanted to do that, he would have had Ric Flair win the ECW World Title.
Well, then he put it on himself. What's up, my brothers? Do-rag Vince.
Oh, let's not talk about the whole Sabu Vince thing. Or are you going to bring that up?
Well, since you went there, so there's an infamous segment that people have brought up ever since with just friggin'. Well, this is before Do-Rag Vince. Vince is visiting ECW. Hey, fellas, look, it's a member of the Taliban. Even as a 15-year-old, I'm like, what did he just say?
What did he just say?
Like, you can't say that.
It's a member of the Taliban.
Oh, shit.
And I'm watching this, and I'm like, what did he just say? Well, you have to also remember, this was months after the infamous Survivor Series 2005 or 6. I think it was 2005. This was like a year and a half after Keep It Up, my N-word. To John Cena.
So, really, are we all that surprised? And plus, it's Vince.
Yes. Hey, fellas, look. Then he just said it so casually.
It's just so casually. Like,
and then walked away.
What the?
Peace out, my bro.
And then you see Sandman just chilling, drinking a beer, reading the newspaper.
Yeah. This is wild times, folks. Like we mentioned in our last show with Rob Nicola and I. Like, this is stuff that we can't get away with now. Like, we can't because it's not cool. No, and Vince, like, you can't say that. Vince, like the fucking Taliban. Oh God, he was. Ridiculous.
I mean, even then, it was kind of like,
what?
Did he really just say that?
Like, but we just accepted it because it was Vince, and Vince is gonna say what he's gonna say.
Vince is gonna Vince.
God damn it!
To be fair, ECW at the time was on at like 10 o'clock on like a Tuesday night.
Yeah, 10 o'clock on Tuesday.
Sci-Fi channel.
Yeah.
Like, you can get away with more shit, after 10 o'clock, but still, goddamn.
Yeah, it was. So ECW on Sci-Fi used to be on it. It was only an hour, so it was like 10 to 11 on Sci-Fi. So yeah, you could get away.
They taped it like right after SmackDown.
Yes, and like you could get away with more, but still, it was fucked up. And I mean, I look at it from a stance like this. I mean, Sabu goes from the Big Show, and then we're gonna mention it. ECW December to Dismember. Sorry, Dan. So he was supposed to be in that Elimination Chamber match, and then Sabu gets taken out in the back, and the fans are loudly, vehemently chanting bullshit. And they replace Sabu in the ECW Extreme Elimination Chamber match with Hardcore Holly. Oh God! So Dan, we'll let you go first. Your thoughts on Sabu getting taken out of the ECW Extreme Elimination Chamber match and replaced with Hardcore Holly?
Did they ever fucking say why?
I've totally forgot. I think he may have It goes back to no-showing. I think he no-showed a shoot that they were going to do. So they're like, "You're out of the Elimination Chamber match. You're going to lose out a payday because you no-showed."
Okay, of all the fucking people that you could pick to replace Sabu.
Well, he was hot on the brand. Come on, they were moving Hardcore Holly over. Come on, Sparky plug.
Like,
yes. No. Rob, I'll go to you. Your thoughts on them replacing Sabu with Hardcore Holly?
Yeah, I'm with Dan. I was just like, of all the people.
Well, the storyline was he was like in hot pockets with Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman saw Hardcore Holly and what he did with Rob. Because remember that match with Rob Van Dam with his back was bleeding after going through the table. Oh God, he was terrible. And he was one of his like flunkies. Oh God, that was one of the bad moments of ECW. Still one of the worst pay-per-views in the history of the company.
One of the worst pay-per-views in professional wrestling history.
I mean that is up there with Great American Bash 04. But Great American
This was worse than Mox versus Kenny in that god-awful exploding ring match. And y'all know what I think about that one.
Yeah.
I'll pay you!
I'll pay you! Eddie Kingston friggin' just covering over Mox and then poof! But still, no, I would honestly say this pay-per-view would be worse. And I mean, Mox and Omega, that was the shit. That was the shits. But I mean, this was way, way worse. And I like Mox and Omega, but yeah, this pay-per-view was way worse than that. But I mean, we go from December to Dismember, and then we start the feud with the ECW Originals against the New Blood, who was Elijah Burke, who would then go on to be the Pope, Marcus Corvan, the former Alpha Male Monty Brown, Kevin Thorne, the former Mordecai, Matt Stryker, before he was showing us his dong, and the other one was showing us his dong. Who the hell was the other one? No, it was Matt Stryker, Kevin Thorne, Marcus Corvan, Elijah Burke, and there was one more. Oh, God. No, there was not one more. All right, anyway, the New Blood. Well, CM Punk was in the New Blood. New Breed, excuse me. The New Breed was in there for like a cup of coffee, but then he turned heel on them, and it was ridiculous. But yeah, we got the New Breed, and we got the ECW Originals. So we'll go with Rob first. Your thoughts on the New Breed and ECW Originals? We got a WrestleMania match out of it at WrestleMania 23. So they got to wrestle at WrestleMania 23 with ECW representation.
Yeah, this was around the time I was kind of popping in and out, so checking in and out, and it was cool to see all the ECW Originals still kind of doing their thing. But kind of at this juncture in the echelon of wrestling history, I was not all there.
Oh, I feel you, man. And I mean, first of all, every time Rob says this, I laugh, but also at the same time, too, as a wrestling fan who's been through the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we all are, I don't blame him because a lot of this stuff was very much Trek at the time. And the other one, by the way, was Ariel, Shelly Martinez, who was with Kevin Thorne. So that was the other one in there. Ariel. Yes. Oh, my God. What a beautiful, beauty woman. Anyway, I digress. So the New Breed, not the New Blood. This is not WCW. The New Breed and the ECW Originals, they would have an epic match at WrestleMania 23, which the New Breed would win. Then they did, this also involves Sabu, the Extreme Rules match on the following ECW, which why that was not on the paper on WrestleMania 23, I don't know, but okay. And Elijah Burke would hit the Elijah Express through the table, double knees through the table on Sabu. So I'll go to Dan on this one now. Your thoughts on the New Breed against the ECW Original?
It was fine. The New Breed as a stable just didn't work. You know, it didn't. But hey, at least the ECW Originals got a WrestleMania payday. Which I'd also like to add, Sandman is technically undefeated at WrestleMania.
This is very true. This Sandman is undefeated.
Sandman has a better WrestleMania record than The Undertaker.
Oh, God. Stop it. Stop it.
No, I won't.
That's wild.
That's wild.
So did Sabu.
Yes, because he is 1-0 as well, because he was on that team. Yeah, and like I mentioned, CM Punk would join them, but it would be like a swerve, as Vince Russo would say, and then he would swerve when I drive. What? And he would turn on the New Breed and go back with the ECW originals. And after this, that would be the end of Sabu because and people don't realize how short his friggin' run was. He goes from One Night Stand 06 all the way to friggin' WrestleMania, and then Sabu. That would be the end of Sabu for a little bit. And I mean, the only things I remember about Sabu as well is we'll go back to TNA here because, God, they did it. EV 2.0. EV 2.0, Hardcore Justice, the whole nine with the TNA originals going against ECW, the EV 2.0 crew. Your thoughts on them doing Hardcore Justice and the revival of ECW and TNA? And I'll start with you again, Dan.
It's one of those things, you know, that meme where someone says, Mom, I want this, I want that. And Mom says, oh, we have this at home. It's that meme, but in wrestling form.
I mean, for me, after the
but
one...
they got more of the originals. You know, they got New Jack.
That they did, but I mean...
WWE tried.
Yeah, but New Jack was going to New Jack. I got rid of it, so... Yeah, and I also mean, I look at it like this. Like, you had One Night Stand, which was a nice farewell, the first one. And honestly, we've said it should have stopped there. But then Vince was like, we can make a brand out of this. Well, it wasn't really Vince. It was Shane McMahon wanted to turn it into an internet show. And because, you know, the days of the internet coming into fruition, websites and streaming. But Vince is like, no, and I'm going to take over creative. And we got what we got. God damn it. And so...
Because the original One Night Stand made money.
Yes, and Vince was like, did somebody say money? And there we go.
All about the money.
So, Rob, I will ask you as well. So we go from the original ECW One Night Stand, the nice little reunion and reformation of ECW. Then TNA tries to do it with EV 2.0 and Hardcore Justice, and it kind of comes off like a cheap knockoff of what One Night Stand was. What were your thoughts on what TNA tried to do with the ECW revival?
That was exactly my thought of it. It was a cheap knockoff. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Stop. Stop.
Stop it.
Stop. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Now, it reminds me of when Dixie Carter, we're going to go to Destination America. It reminds me of when Dixie Carter, when EC3 had his team and they were going against Bully Ray and everybody. Like, remember when she brought in fucking Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson to freaking be on the team with EC3? Like, you're like, we're going to get some ECW originals in here. And you bring in Snitsky and Ezekiel Jackson because they were technically in ECW. That's what it reminds me of. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And they did it.
And she did it.
And she did it.
That Dixie.
Hey, but then we got Dixie going through the table, so I mean that was a plus. That's a plus. But I mean, we go from Sabu in the Hardcore Justice, and he was in TNA on and off for a little bit.
I just got to make this comment.
Go ahead.
She took a better table spot than Tony Khan took a pile driver.
Oh, geez, he's going there. Oh, man, he's going there with his friggin' Tony Khan's legs flapping in the air. Please don't drop me on my head.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
There it is.
Save me, Tanahashi-san.
Save me, Tanahashi-san. No,
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. I'll be honest with you. We talk about watching stuff over and over again. When that happened, I literally watched that probably about 5 to 10 times over after the show because I could not believe what I saw. I'm like, oh my God, he's really going to take the move. And he took the move. And I'm like, all right. And I couldn't stop laughing, much like we're laughing now. Bully Ray friggin' power bombs Dixie Carter through a table. And Tony.
And then he brought back the classic.
Then he brought back the stair. He brought back the stair after he did it. Oh God. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, if you rewatch that, like, he protected the living hell out of her.
Oh, he did, but she still took a gnarly landing.
I think she got a concussion over that, which,
she did.
To her credit, like,
I give her props. I do. Madam Dixie, honey. So with that being said, we go from Sabu really making a lot of sporadic appearances. And I mean, even in TNA, when they announced for the United We Stand going into WrestleMania that year, that WrestleMania weekend, and it was Rob Van Dam and Sabu against the Lucha Brothers. And I'm like, no. But they did. And I got to say, I know they won that match, RVD and Sabu over the Lucha Bros, but God damn it, man. I was very happy to see Sabu return for that and Rob Van Dam do his thing. So I got to ask y'all, boys, and I'll start with you, Roberto, since now Penta and Phoenix are both in WWE, and Rob Van Dam and Sabu legendary when it comes to tag team. What were your thoughts on this match? Beto Nieto.
Yeah, I was kind of happy to see this because, I mean, obviously Sabu and Rob Van Dam are iconic in the stuff that they do. To do it against a team like the Lucha Brothers, I was pretty happy with this. And I was glad that, the boys, the Lucha Bros, got that moment with RVD and Sabu.
Your thoughts, Daniel, on the RVD Sabu Lucha Bros matchup?
Loved it. The fact that you had Sabu and Van Dam, who not spring chickens,
no,
and that they could hang with the Lucha Bros is really saying something.
As I like to call him at the time, Bald Sabu, because I remember he came out. I'm like, what the hell happened to his hair? Then I realized, okay, he's gonna look even nuttier than he already is coming out. Coming out with Melissa Coates, God rest her soul, the genie. Yeah. You know what it is, too? I look at that run, and I'm just like, it was a great nostalgia act, and to bring in Melissa Coates was also very nice at the time. And, I mean, I look at it from a stance like this. When you think of his career, there will never be no one as far as hardcore, more original than Sabu, as well as his uncle, the original Sheik. He just gave us a lot of great memories, man. And, I mean, we'll get into it now. We'll talk about Joey Janela and that GCW matchup. Goodness gracious me. I mean, that was holy shit in its own right. So we'll start with Rob on this one. Sabu and Joey Janela, go.
That was holy shit. I know I give Joey a lot of shit because, once I found out he's not a trained professional, that just kind of, I lost a little bit of respect for him. But this match, holy shit. It felt like a lot went wrong, but I think a lot more could have gone wrong.
Right.
Just the fact that Sabu actually did the match is kind of holy shit in itself. I mean, considering, how old he was and what he went through, and now the stories that we hear of, what he was going through during the day. It's just like, goddamn, he didn't have to do this, but he went out there and did it anyway.
Go ahead, Daniel.
A lot can be said about should the match have happened, should the match not have happened. It's conjecture at this point. Yeah. I think Joey Janela gets a lot of shit for this match, and I don't think he should.
No.
A match like this, there is so much that can go wrong. Specifically, the spot where Sabu missed the barbed wire bed and head first into the cement.
Ugh.
Clearly not supposed to happen. It's like Rob, like you said, as much went wrong, so much more could have.
Yeah.
Watching that match myself, I also was with the two of you as holy shit. And I'm just like, this is, to quote Dickie Roberts, this is knucking futz. This is literally fucking nuts of just a combustible elements of just, it's Sabu. I knew what I was getting when I saw it. And I saw Joey Janela, dumbass for lighting himself on fire. Like I said, that's even dumber than watching a Superhuman video. I mean, it is. I'm not that. Whoop, whoop, fuck this shit. What is wrong with that boy? Oh, God. Anyway, I digress.
We don't have enough time to discuss.
That's another show for another time.
Like, didn't GCW allow him for, like, some shows? Wasn't he on, like, a GCW?
Mm-hmm.
I think he was JCW. So I think he was with, like, the ICP's promotion, which I think that's still a thing.
Fucking the Juggalos and the Juggalos. Can somebody just... Anyway, I digress. So, that match, yes, gave us some insanity. And, I mean, when I watched that matchup, unfortunately, with everything that transpired, I mean, I go back to, we mentioned, like, the ECW run, everything that he did with the fire, with the chairs, and everything that he was synonymous with. I think his legacy, and God rest his soul even after this match, his legacy is going to be not only very influential, not only just the character and charisma that he had, but someone who could go out there and, like Daniel, you've said many times, make you feel. And that's what wrestling's about, evoking emotions, eliciting reactions. I think even after this matchup, and God rest his soul, the age of 60, that man lived a crazy life, but goddamn it, what a ride he took us all on.
I mean, he went out on his own terms. What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Just kind of even thinking about when and I know it made absolutely zero fucking sense when he came out with Adam Cole in AEW. When the whole feud with the Jericho Appreciation Society, you're outnumbered, who you're gonna get? When Adam said homicidal, I was not paying attention. When he said homicidal, that got my attention. Genocidal, and then I hear Taz say, "Oh no." I was just like, ain't no fucking way. And then his music hit, and it's just like, yo, motherfucking Sabu.
And can we just acknowledge that Sabu wrestled his last match in a fucking suit?
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. Now, I didn't mean to gloss over the AEW run, but this one over here, it made absolutely no sense, but damn it, it was cool.
No, it didn't. Like, why Sabu and Adam Cole? Why? Who? Fuck. But yeah, it was cool as hell to see him. And he got to throw that chair at Daddy Magic.
Give him a little taste.
Gave him a little taste. You like that, Daddy Magic?
We do. I mean, Dan, you want to comment on the AEW here?
You know what? The only thing that I can think is that it was a payday for Sabu.
Yeah.
And if that's what it was, then great. I will applaud Tony Khan for that. To his credit, I give him a lot of shit, but Tony's a wrestling fan, and the fact that, he did that is pretty cool. And, even in his passing, to see how everyone kind of came up and, helped, with funeral expenses for Sabu is pretty cool thing, because funerals ain't cheap.
No, not at all. And I mean, the outlove of support he got on social media, the well wishes everybody gave him, Taz, who you rarely see cry, just how emotional his video was. And I mean, everybody loves Sabu because he
Karrion
Cross doing the, oh my Lord, the friggin' the one. Yes, that got me too. Like, everybody who just commented on this, it just shows, because whether you worked with him in the business, whether you've watched his ascension in the wrestling world, whether you watched him in Japan, whether you watched him in the States, whether you watched him for whatever company, he made you feel something, and he has a lasting legacy that will last forever.
And his book, if you have not read his book,
I haven't.
It's fucking crap. Most people have shout outs, like a shout out page.
Yeah. Not
he has
Sabu.
a fuck you page.
He has a fuck you page.
Well, who's on the fuck you page? Everybody?
Who isn't?
Who isn't?
Oh God, I have to read this now.
I'm pretty sure Vince is on there.
Yeah, I think he is.
That doesn't shock me. You may have helped me, but fuck you, Vince.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, dude, it's a great, honestly, it's just, that aside, it's a good read.
Yeah, it's good.
I will have to check it out. I know he wrote a book, never read it, but yeah. Well, I mean, there's got to be great stories of him talking about the Sheik and all that.
Oh, yeah. Like, you see people, like, fans that have met him. I've never seen one where people have an unkind word about him.
Well, because he knows what he's doing. He knows the legacy he's lived, and he knows that he wouldn't be where he is without these great people.
And I'll say it right now, 2026. It's time to put him in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, the original Sheik is already in there. So, I mean, come on now. Let's put Sabu in the Hall of Fame. I got to say, though, that's actually what I wanted to ask you about before we come to our lasting thoughts on this show. Did you guys like the original Sheik Hall of Fame speech? Because Sabu did not talk. Rob did most of the talking, but you got to say he was committed to the character like his uncle was, because Sabu did not talk at all. It was Rob giving that speech. Mm-hmm. I thought was great, keeping it in kayfabe and character.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
What do you think, Dan?
Absolutely. Like, you talk about people that lived their gimmick, which, the original Sheik came from an era where your gimmick was you 24/7. Like if you're seen out in public, turn it on. Like if you think Sandman, when he had that injury where he got hurt by Dreamer, he wasn't seen for months. He stayed home.
Yeah, Paul Heyman said he didn't even answer the door. His wife would answer the door.
Sabu, less in, more recent years, but this was a dude that primarily, for the most part, lived the gimmick.
Yeah, like even if you saw him in public back then, he didn't talk. He just left the gimmick.
I can only imagine walking through the grocery store or Sabu with an Arabian facebuster and the milk.
Arabian facebuster and the
doing
milk.
a triple jump moonsault into the dairy section.
Yes.
What the fuck's going on over there? Oh, that's just Sabu. Don't worry about it.
I said I wanted the cold cuts. And friggin' just jumps over the friggin' deli counter. Yeah.
Picks up a display and just throws it at somebody.
Get the fuck out of here with this.
Not the Red Bull display.
Here's Sandman out of nowhere with the cane. The fuck is going on in this grocery store?
Price check on Jackass.
What?
What?
So with that being said, we will tell you what is when you think of Sabu, and if you've never checked him out, even if you're new to wrestling, you want to watch some great tapes, watch Sabu against Terry Funk, watch Sabu and Abyss, watch anything ECW, Sabu, and TNA and WWE. You will not regret it because Sabu, God rest your soul, you crazy, crazy, homicidal, genocidal, suicidal freak, maniac that you are. You are crazy, but we love you, and your work will never, ever, ever go to pasture, and we appreciate you and your legacy, man. I'm putting it up to ones, man. Come on, y'all. I'm going to get back and lean with it. Boom. One. Boom.
One.
One.
Honorable mention, I did because I just,
yeah.
The music guy. I really like the fact that everywhere he went, I can't think of his WCW theme music, but his music stayed consistent.
Pretty much.
The Hookah Blues, man. It's such an iconic song that everybody kind of kept that to Sabu because that's him. So mad respect to Mikey Ruckus at AEW and Jim Johnson, everybody that contributed to that small iconic piece of that character.
So with that's his WCW theme would be reused by La Parka, which that's just a generic production theme.
Okay.
Like I've heard it in a couple other commercials.
I've always enjoyed the whole that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God they kept his theme. I would hate to think what Def Rebel would come up for him.
God damn. It's funny because the guy who originally wrote Hookah Blues for him and ECW got into it with Mikey from AEW because I guess he was pissed that he copied it, and Mikey was just like, bro, like I'm giving you a shout out. I'm trying to keep to the original. Like this music is iconic to him. Like we need to keep it to
as
him
close as possible.
Yeah, you fucker.
And dude can't even say shit because he sold the rights to it to fucking WWE.
Right.
Like
that just makes it so much worse.
He sold it for pennies. Like
God damn.
WWE, they bought that. The only some of the ones they couldn't get, Dreamer's original ECW theme because that was basically Man in a Box.
Yeah.
RVD, I think everybody thought when he came into AEW with Walk by Pantera, respect. Everybody freaking loved that. But I got to still say, One of a Kind is still one of the most iconic themes ever. Or even the TNA one, Rob Van Dam, the whole fucking show. Rob Van Dam. But no, that's the beauty of music. And of course, Robert brings up the music because,
because why,
No. Because why not?
Because why not? But no, I appreciate that. It's always the little attention to detail. And the details of a Sabu match are not even just homicidal, genocidal, and suicidal. It is craziness mixed with some wrestling, mixed with chair shots, mixed with tables, and just, dare I say, a potpourri, a weapons of mass destruction, or a symphony of destruction, just like the Pied Piper. I'll make the music reference, Mr. Robert Davis. There you go, you son of a gun. A little taste of my music, a little taste.
Give him a taste.
Little taste.
You son of a gun.
Son of a gun. But that's the beauty part of Sabu, folks. Just he gave you moments and memories, and he gave you everything within his soul, with his fiber, to apply his craft. I mean, friggin' staple guns and friggin' sticky glue and shutting your wounds with friggin' just everything, crazy glue. Oh, the man was a menace, but god dang it, man, he had a heart of gold, and you will be missed. Rest in peace, Sabu. That's all this show is. It's nothing but love and appreciation and the great career that this man had. And if y'all are new, if y'all youngins want to see some, type in Sabu, because you won't regret it. You won't regret it. So with that being said, what you also won't regret is listening to us just ramble on and us talk about our shows into discussion, because we're very passionate about what we do in professional wrestling and our love of it. So Daniel and I will be back to our regular scheduled programming, as this is episode 8. Now moved to episode 9 was our original topic for this episode, but in light of the news of Sabu, we wanted to give him our thoughts and prayers and our love and reminiscence, if you will, or look back at his career. And Rob, we thank you even for coming on as well, because we love having you, my dude.
Always happy to jump on with the boys.
All righty. And our next episode, and it's funny that I'm going to say this as far as Rob is on this show, because I can't wait to see his reaction. Our next episode of Uncaged, Daniel, is CM Punk's run in AEW. Go ahead, say it. I know you want to say it, Daniel.
I'll pay you.
No, the other one. The other one.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
That one.
Come to my company, I'll pay you.
Why can't we be friends?
I give my life.
So we're going to get into the debut on Rampage, the matches with Sir Darby Allin, the matches with Eddie Kingston, the matches with Hangman Adam Page, the infamous Brawl Out. I'm old, I'm tired. Fucking children. That. Yes. The Moxley match where, hey, Rocky 3, but we're going to have you wrestle injured anyway. Don't worry about it. It's only a squash match. Tony, he's still getting in the ring, you dumb fucking Mark. And then we are also get into Jungle Boy, the douche of the jungle. Watch out for that tree at All In. And that. So fights galore, promos galore, counterfeit bucks. Tell me what.
I only choked him a little.
That.
I just choked him a little bit.
Choked him a little. Oh, man, it's going to be one for the ages. So we're going to talk about it as we are coming upon, geez Louise, almost 2 years of that now. Fucking God's sake. But anyway, that'll be our next show for Uncaged. Before Dan and I do our thing, Robert, you are a guest, and you are always an amazing guest. Where can we follow you on the socials? You do amazing work with our social medias and just your overall social medias. Go ahead, boy.
So if you enjoyed what you watched here as we enjoyed making it, you can follow Mike and myself over with my demon sister, Nicola. Hello, sister. I know you're watching. You're always watching, unfortunately. Linktree/BlackHeartsEBD3. We are deep into the heart of wrestling. We will be doing a prediction show next week. Double predictions!
Double the predictions!
As we got When Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank, which Karrion Kross is still not on the show for
God damn you
fucking reason. Hunter,
I'm looking at you, Hunter.
Looking at you.
Talking to you, Uncle Paul.
Help us. Help him. So we got double predictions next week over on Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. You can find us at Linktree/BlackHeartsEBZ3. You can catch Mr. DC and myself over on the Max Wrestling YouTube. Linktree/KITWTSK1. We just recently released a Double or Nothing review. Definitely go check that out. We can link that in the bottom. As for myself, you can find me over at Linktree/Hey, I'm Rob. You got all of my social media there. Come talk about Sabu or CM Punk or Sour Sauce. I know Dan's probably going to have a lot of it for the next Uncaged show, so get ready.
So Dan, where can we follow you on the socials before I do my thing? Go ahead, bro.
Mike's going to put the links down below. We didn't do any cheap pops tonight.
I know it was a serious one. It was a serious one.
The cheap pops will be back next week, where we will attempt to break our record of 23.
23, yes.
So, with that being said, the Pundit will relaunch officially tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that. new format, new everything. And last but certainly not least, I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
Where can all these fine people find you if they don't already know?
Well, if you want to, you could check me out on Twitter, even though I hate Twitter. Fuck you, Elon. At SM Show 1 or MCL92. I started a Blue Sky. I don't know what the name of it is. I have to get more into it, but I'm on Blue Sky as well. You can check me out at freaking Instagram, Larkin_92 or MLarkinMB, SteveandMikeShow.com and LFCfights.com.
Hi, Steve.
And the Steve and Mike Show. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Not ICP.
Not ICP.
So Steve and Mike Show is on the YouTube channel, S&M Network shows. Uncaged with Daniel Crimmins, the weekly review with Paul Morales, Daniel and I, of course, Deep into the Heart of Wrestling with Robert, Nicola, and I. Also, you get the Pop Culture History Podcast, On the Mic with Mike, the LFC Podcast, and so much more. Stay tuned because there's a lot coming.
Did you remember our other show, Maggle?
What other show? We mentioned Uncaged in the weekly review.
I'm old.
So follow the YouTube channel for all the audio and video goodness for everything that comes from these fine gentlemen and yours truly. We're a collective unit. We're a team, and we appreciate each and every one of you that listen to these fine shows and tune in and either like, subscribe, or comment and tell us why Robert and I are just horrible human beings. I'm only kidding. If you guys have not checked out the LFC on Spotify, although you all have some comments, man, just making fun of us for watching women fight lingerie. I know we're horrible people. We're just horrible people. Excuse us for watching beautiful women in lingerie, you fuckers. So with that being said, y'all are not a bunch of fuckers. But those people on Spotify are fuckers. And with that being said, for Daniel Crimmins, for Robert Davis, my name is Mike Larkin, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu. Rest in peace. We love you. And as always, we'll put the one up here, looking up to the sky at the one and only Sabu. Rest in peace. See y'all in the next episode.
We'll pay you.
We'll pay you.
Thank you, Tanahashi-san.